All right. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming today and taking the time. Today, we're going to be discussing the Foresight Innovation Challenge that we're running in collaboration with Group Savoie and NBIF. The challenge is, of course, on biomass recovery. And so today, we're going to be diving into the details of this challenge and hopefully answer any questions that you have. So here we go. All right, let me just get this working for us. Before we go any further, I just want to make sure that we do our land acknowledgement here. And so, with gratitude and respect, we acknowledge that the lands on which Foresight operates are the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. And here is our agenda for this session today. If the times look a little bit weird here, we're actually going coast to coast today. We are 9 o'clock here in Pacific time. So, um, well, good morning, good afternoon, and so here's what we have here on the agenda today: welcoming remarks and introductions. We're kind of working through our way already. We're just gonna do some intros about our program partners here, Group Savoie and NBIF. We're gonna dive into the Biomass Recovery Challenge. This is both kind of the overview, kind of some of the specifics that we're looking for, and then we'll discuss the eligibility and evaluation criteria as well. At roughly 9:25. We'll go through the application and evaluation process. We're going to give you some application tips as well. So those are super helpful. And then finally, towards the end at 9:30, hopefully we stay on track there, but there is a Q&A part of this session today. I want to highlight this is a Zoom webinar. If you've ever used one of those before, make sure you're using the Q&A function. If you just put your question directly in the chat, we might not necessarily see it. So make sure you're using that Q&A function, and we will get to the questions that you have in the Q&A portion of the session here today. All right. So let's keep on moving forward. Let's introduce our speakers for today. Sorry, I should have maybe introduced myself a little bit earlier. My name's Tyler Maximieux. I am the manager of IT and data systems here at Foresight, but have been supporting our innovation challenges more recently. So that's a little bit about me. I'm going to pass it over to Yves to introduce himself. He's from Group Savoie. Yves, if you want to just put on your camera and say hello.
Yes,
Uh,
hello.
this
Ivo
time.
Bryan, Procurement Vice President. I'm responsible of all the roundwood and biomass procurement for Group Savoie site. So yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Thank you. Good to have you here. And of course, next is Paul. Can you say hello?
Hi, everyone. I'm Paul Thornton. I'm the Innovation Partnerships Manager for NBIF.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And let's keep on moving here. Before we get into the challenge, just gonna kind of remind you why we're all here. Who is Foresight? What do we do? And so, just as a reminder, Foresight is Canada's largest clean tech accelerator, and we're really working to close the clean tech adoption gap in Canada. And so, our purpose is to help the world to do more with less sustainably. Our mission is to connect industry with the world's best clean technologies, and so that's really looking towards our acceleration side, where we're working with clean tech ventures. We're supporting them to get funding, mentorship, and really supporting them to grow. And we work with industry to help understand their needs. We want to make sure that Canada's industries are doing more with less sustainably, and that's really part of what we do here at Foresight. So, connecting them with technologies and solutions to help them meet their urgent climate targets through our industry challenges. And again, that's why we are here today. And so now we're going to shift gears to talk a little bit more about the Biomass Recovery Challenge that we're running with Group Savoie. So Group Savoie is seeking innovation to improve the efficiency, cost effectiveness, and sustainability of extraction and transportation of hardwood biomass from their cut sites. The challenge has already opened. I imagine since you're here today, you've visited the website and have seen some of the requirements that are listed there. But again, we're going to go over some of those details here. But before we go any further, I want to just give Paul from NBIF just a couple minutes to introduce NBIF, the New Brunswick Innovation Fund, and just tell us a little bit more about kind of the collaboration that's happening here. So, Paul, over to you.
That's super. Thank you so much, Tyler, and really happy to tell you a little bit more about NBIF. We are actually a venture capital firm, and we really focus on investing in those companies in New Brunswick that are innovation companies and that are growth companies. But we also do have an important role in supporting industry in the province and helping the province's industries be more innovative and adopt innovative solutions. And as part of that, we've been partnering with the Economic Development Agency here in New Brunswick. They're called Opportunities New Brunswick, and we've been working to deliver on some climate funding that they have to help New Brunswick industry green, become more sustainable and adopt greener solutions. So that's really where the motive for this challenge comes from, is we really want to find solutions to help New Brunswick companies be more sustainable and to make more of the resources that they're developing. So, this is one of the reasons that we kind of came to Foresight and said, there's a bunch of different things that we'd like to partner with you on. And Tyler kind of mentioned about the acceleration piece, and we're doing some of that as well with some of the companies in our portfolio. But really, we're interested in kind of trialing this concept of an industry challenge and how we could kind of leverage the network that Foresight has, and then to build out a network of solution providers that could be addressing a challenge that is relevant for a New Brunswick company. And so we are supporting this challenge, funding the work that Foresight is doing and helping to run the challenge. But we know really that the driver for all this is going to be successful adoption of a clean technology or a modification that really helps Group Savoie achieve better biomass recovery. And for that reason, we're allocating $120,000 for Group Savoie to do a pilot project with the potential solution. So that's really the motivator, I think, for companies that are interested in offering solutions, is that we are serious about getting behind adoption, and we know adoption really is going to need some trialing, some development work, and that's really why we're putting some funds forward to help motivate that and to drive that and to see some success from this project. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing the outcomes of this challenge, seeing what gets submitted. I think Yves's going to talk about the technologies and some of the challenges that they're facing, and I think we're pleased to be involved and really help drive innovation in clean tech and in sustainability here in the province. So thanks so much, and look forward to the rest of the presentation.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Alrighty, now the moment everyone's been waiting for. I'm going to pass it over to Yves to discuss Group Savoie, their company history, and the challenge in a little bit more detail. So Yves, over to you.
Yeah, but first of all, I would like to thank you, Tyler, and Paul from NBIF, and people from Foresight to give us the opportunity to put sorry, my cat just hold on. To put this opportunity together and to work to find maybe a solution or develop a solution with us with our challenge that Group Savoie already have in their system about recovering some biomass in a way. That's a great opportunity, and we appreciate that. First thing, Group Savoie vision is to be a company recognized for adding the maximum value to available forest resource. We always recognized like that in the past and still go on. Our mission is always to manufacture product with good quality and ensuring sustainable forestry practice over the time, for sure, because the resources is so valuable for us, and contributing to the development and quality of life of employees and community. So just to add a couple of words on this, we cut by ourselves over 300,000 cubic meter per year. We have a couple of crew from tree land operation, cut to land operation, and we participate from the really from the stem, to doing some inventory on field, and prepare some prescription for the block, harvesting block. We also have, like I said, harvesting crew, trucking, recover biomass system, chipping, and so very integrated from the A to Z for all these process. We use high grade wood as a low grade wood too, to make some pallets for shipping. The high grade is nice logs to do some cabinets and molding and the floor and stuff like that. And we also using biomass in our pellets plant, and it's all in St. Quentin and Kedgewick area, Northwest New Brunswick. We also have another factory in Moncton just for assembling pallet, repairing pallets. And we have a little sawmill in Nova Scotia for high grade logs too. So it's a well implemented complex. Group Savoie work with about 475 employees, so that's a lot for a small community like St. Quentin, where our region is about 5,000 to 6,000 people, 5,000 to 6,000 people in the area. So if you could imagine 475 employees, a big crunch, and then I think Group Savoie is very important for the community here. So we can go to the next one. The background, actually the method of harvesting and extracting lower value hardwood, we talk small limbs and biomass, that's not roundwood, merchantable stuff, are inefficient and costly due to the logistical challenge in deploying equipment in the transport of materials. So we estimated that up to 60% of usable hardwood biomass is left behind from our harvest side. That the way we're doing it right now, it's we used to do it with kind of buncher machine in front of the processor, so that the limbs is already bunched, you know, with the round wood, so it's pretty easy. It's not affecting a lot the processor, but things change, and we more and more we try to eliminate the buncher in front. It's a big fuel consumption. It's a big money to operate. It cost a lot for the contractor. So we try to change that. So if we go to the next slide, I think I explained here a little bit more. Our challenge is in two step. The first stage is to prepare the biomass on the field to be recovered with the other machine after. So like I mentioned, we used to do it with a buncher, the photo you have at your upper right. But that's okay for the tree land operation. We already have the biomass coming with the grapple skidder. But with the cut to land operation, we don't use anymore the buncher. So today it's a big challenge for us to know how many times, how many motion it will take more for the contractor to prepare the biomass. After that, to recover that with the other machine. So we don't know how many times it will take and how it's going to affect the production of that machine. So we have to figure that. And the stage two is to take this bunch of biomass, prepare side of the trail, and to bring that to the roadside for the chipper. And today we're doing it with a standard forwarder. Like today we have a Rodney, but it could be a Ponce or other John Deere, whatever. But it's standard. It's a really standard machine as a forwarder. So we could not put a lot of weight on it, a lot of volume, because it's really a machine to bring some roundwood. So it's 18 ton or 20 tons. But with limbs and biomass, you could imagine that we not use that machine for this full capacity. So today we only put about less than 6 tons per load. So it costs something to bring that to the road, and we expect to be better for the future, because all the cost of the operation today after the COVID jumped like a rocket. So maybe if we go at the other slide, we'll talk a little bit more. Like I already explained, we need to know the cost in order to compensate the contractor correctly for the additional handling to prepare that biomass side of the trail. Today we discuss with other industry, and we have some few hint, but we not really know. So is it by 10, 15 or 20% it will affect the production? We don't know. We have to figure it, and we have to figure how to do it, because when we talk with some other contractors, some of them say it's not feasible, or some others said, yeah, I already done that in the past. So we need to figure where we stand today. Next slide. So the biomass, like I mentioned, is extract from the roadside using a conventional forwarder, and it's not adapt to the task. The machine can handle more tons than what we're doing right now with the biomass. Our data give us about 5.7 tons biomass per load. So like other company we discuss with, I know they try in the past other adapting forwarder like big basket or big basket to put more branch, more biomass on each load, but it seemed that no idea, no prototype go to the real production all week long. I didn't know anyone anyway. So we have to figure if we have the best technique, and if we can adapt the machine to do something better, or do we have the right process to do it? I don't know. So every idea is acceptable today. Next slide. I think it's my portion for that, Tyler.
Yeah, happy to jump in, but if you want to take this, feel free.
Okay, no problem. I can continue a little bit if you want. Why apply? I say this challenge presents a unique opportunity for the challenge winner to collaborate with Group Savoie. I think we have a good team. We have 4 supervisors, a director of our operation, forester, senior forester. So we are a good team, great team, and we're not afraid. We're not afraid of change process, and we're open to any idea. So, and at the end of that, it's going to be a 12-month pilot project to showcase technology and impact sustainable forestry. Thanks to the NBIF, we'll fund Group Savoie up to $120,000 for this work. And the gain for sure is the industry recognition. Don't worry about that. I think the successful solution for us will be if we can recover an additional 15,000 tons of biomass for the same volume of raw wood harvesting. It's going to be a great goal achieved. Presently, with this cut to land operation, we recover about 20 to 25,000 cubic meter. But like I mentioned earlier, we still missing some biomass that we leave on field because we're not adapt for the technique and without a buncher. So we could probably go to 25 to 40,000 tons per year with that cut to land operation, and my 3 land operation will procure another 10 to 12,000. So our pellets mills needs about 60,000 per year. So we already have a needs inside Group Savoie, and we always working with other projects for green energy and stuff like that. We always already have discussion with the province of New Brunswick and other industry who using like some kind of border to do some energy and heat or their system. So we always in discussion with stuff like that. Another goal is to ensure the consistent supply to a pellet mill for sure, and create opportunity to sell volume for other green energy project. Reduce extraction cost by $4 per ton, over 35,000 tons. So I'm assuming, yes, we can do more tons, but all the good things that the project will give to Group Savoie will make a saving on from A to Z for all these volumes. So we expect a $4 tons per tons. Is probably more of it is about the forwarder or the extraction from the field to the roadside probably. But some of that is in the stage one where we prepare the biomass side of the trail. Because if, for example, if today we decide to pay 20% of compensation for production for this machine, and it's only 5, we're just blowing money for nothing. You know, we want to pay people right, but we don't want to pay more than what it costs really. So that's the thing. Yeah. Next one.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where I can hop back in, and thank you for the background there. And again, for everyone who's attending here today, if you have any questions, remember to use that Q&A function. And again, we will get to them eventually once we get through a little bit more here. So just hang on to those questions, or start getting them in the Q&A now, and we'll get to it. So I'm going to shift gears just slightly to discuss a little bit more about the process of the challenge here. So, obviously, some key date timelines right here. The challenge launched on January 13th. Again, if you're here with us today, I suspect that you likely were on the website and you kind of had an opportunity to kind of go through all the materials there. The information webinar, of course, you're here now. And so the next big date that you want to keep in mind is February 21st. That is when the challenge submission closes. Any application submitted after that date and that time, 11:59 p.m. Pacific time, unfortunately, they will not be accepted. So make sure that you have that date in your calendar, and make sure that you're getting your applications in on time. From there, we're going to go through an evaluation period. We'll select some finalists, and we'll announce a winner. We're going to talk a little bit more about this or we're going to talk a little bit more detail about all these steps. But basically, from once the application process is closed, we will, from mid-February to about middle of March, we'll be working in the background to evaluate the applications, invite some people in for some final pitch presentations, and then, of course, announce the winner towards the end of March there. So just keep that in mind. All of this information is, of course, on the website, but if you have any questions, of course, feel free to voice them. Now, just a few eligibility criteria. This is going to be important for your application, so just keep these things in mind. So first and foremost, you need to be collaborative. You need to be willing and able to pilot your technology with Group Savoie. Of course, they are in New Brunswick. So just also keep that in mind. And your technology should be able to improve the efficiency in their hardwood cut plots. The second eligibility criteria here is related to location. The good news here is that this challenge is open globally. So, if you're a Canadian, of course, you're welcome. But if you're tuning in from elsewhere in the world right now, we're looking forward to see your applications as well. And finally, we're asking that technologies are at technology readiness level 6, between TRL 6 and 8. If you're not familiar with this scale, a quick Google search, I think if you just put technology readiness level Canada or something along those lines, you should be able to find some documentation. But again, there are some links on the challenge webpage on the Foresight website. So you should be able to access this information. And so just make sure that you're kind of considering this before making your application, because we are, again, looking for a range of 6 to 8. All right, and as promised, I told you that we're going to talk a little bit more detail about the application and evaluation process. So after the deadline on February 21st, we will be going through an eligibility screening process. So we are going to look at all the applications, make sure that they comply with the 3 eligibility criteria that we just discussed. And if everything looks good, we will then be moving to the committee review process. So we do have a committee. These are all industry experts that are going to review your application and on a grading rubric. And based on the information that you provide, the evidence that you're supporting evidence, we will be selecting anywhere between 3 and 5 finalists. Of course, that number is going to depend on the applications that we receive. So that's not necessarily set in stone, but that's roughly the number that we're aiming for. Those finalists will be invited to give a pitch presentation. So that's step 4 here. During that pitch presentation, you're going to meet with the evaluators, with Group Savoie, and you're going to be able to walk the team through your technology and answer questions in a little bit more detail. So that's kind of the final step before we before the evaluation team selects the final winner. Once that winner is selected, of course, we'll reach out, and all the announcements and everything else will happen afterwards. So that is the process. I hope that's fairly straightforward and pretty standard. But again, if you have any questions, please add them to the Q&A chat there. And finally, we wanted to provide just a few application tips, just to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward for this innovation challenge. So first and foremost, we've already mentioned this a couple times, make sure that you are meeting those eligibility criteria, that you're able and willing to collaborate with Group Savoie, that your technology is able to actually address the issue that we are, that we've laid out here today. And that you're between that TRL 6 and 8. The second point here is don't wait until the deadline to submit your applications. As I mentioned before, once the deadline has passed, we will not be accepting any additional applications. So it is very important that you meet that deadline. But also just giving yourself a little extra time will also improve the quality of your application. And so again, it'll help you put your best foot forward. I know it's tempting to sometimes leave it to the last minute, but give yourself some time. You'll thank yourself later. This third point here is provide data evidence where required to support qualitative descriptions. We're data driven here. We want to make sure that that there is some data that whether please provide as much data as possible. It just helps the evaluators make their decisions. And yeah, the next point here, point 4, is use clear language in the technical description of the technology and development plans. So as I've mentioned, the evaluators are industry experts, but you don't want to leave anything up to the imagination. You want to make sure that you're not using too many jargony words, buzzwords. Please use as much as possible clear, plain language to describe your technology. Again, it'll just help us, not have to guess at what you're trying to describe. And then finally, tip 5 is explain the work done to progress the technology to date. So we want to hear your story. We want to hear where you've started, where you're at, and where you're going, and kind of building out that narrative really helps us understand if this is a viable technology and whether it is something that is going to align with the needs of Group Savoie. So that's that. Those are the application tips. Of course, we're always happy to help. If you need to reach out to myself or anyone on the challenge team, please do, and we're here to support you. Now, without all that said, we are at the Q&A portion of today's session, and I'm looking at the time. We're right on track. So yeah, let's start answering some questions. Eve and Paul, if we would definitely welcome you to help out here. And let me just see, I might need a little bit of help here from the events team to just get the Q&A here. Let me see. Let me just see here. Briar, I might need you. Oh, there we go. Found it. Sorry. Oh, okay. As I'm seeing, I don't think any questions so far. Let's open it up. Does anyone have any questions, any thoughts, any comments? Please feel free to add it in the chat there, and we'll go through them one by one.
Can I make a quick comment? Just in
Yes,
addition to
please.
all the nice information that Eve gave on Group Savoie and their work in this field, but this, to me, I see this one as being like a real important aspect for the whole forest industry in New Brunswick and likely across Canada and other parts of the world. Is how do you actually make the most of all that biomass that's there? It's a real underused resource. And I think that there's a real potential here to if you develop a solution to this is it's a great solution for a Group Savoie, but it has potential for the whole province and has potential for lots of other markets around the world. So
yeah.
If I could add something.
Absolutely, please do.
I didn't mention any impact on fuel consumption, but just for an example, the buncher in front of our operation, cut to land, use about 38 liter of fuel per hour. So the decision it's not just because we like the challenge, but the decision to cut our wood without a buncher, it's an impact in the cost of the operation, but also in the I think it's a good change for the environment, for the fuel, carbon thing, sorry for my English, yeah. So that's a good point for sure for the project, and the same thing for the forwarder, bring the biomass roadside. If we can put 20 to 30% more biomass for each load, it's gonna be the same 12 liter per hour, or practically the same. So it's a big impact too on fuel right there.
Absolutely. We do have a question from Lisa McNabb. Lisa asks, have you tried 3D printing with the biomass or any types of mixing with other materials?
No, not yet. It's only, I'll say 90% of hardwood leaves and branch, maybe 5 to 10% of sometime aspen and a little bit of softwood in the mix. But we try to target hardwood biomass only for the pellet mills.
Awesome. Q&A is still open. If anyone has any questions or wants to add their thoughts to the chat, please do. We're here to help and yeah, answer any questions you might have. No questions. Okay. Alrighty. Give it just a few more seconds here. I just want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to ask if anything comes to mind. I know that sometimes, I don't want to put you on the spot or anything, but yeah.
happy to follow up as well. People
Yeah.
are taking this in, and if they you do have a recording that'll be available, but I'm happy to be available to answer questions on NBIF's portion of the project, and can reach out to me, can reach out to Eve, and we'll try and answer technical questions, use the expert there. But I think, yeah, it's a really great opportunity, and I would welcome to see what you have really. I think and we have kind of set a high bar for like what would be really great to have for solution, but I think don't limit yourself there either. You can feel like you can iterate, right? Like it's a solution that you have to start somewhere, right? And if it's maybe hitting some of those metrics that we're hoping to achieve in biomass recovery, that doesn't mean that that we're going to exclude it. We would be interested to look at it and see if there's a way of iterating it with a path forward, trying to improve it, trying to demonstrate it. So it's really just a matter of having an innovative idea or a technology that's nearly there. I think we'd be welcome to evaluate it.
Alrighty, I'm going to do one last call for questions. Now's the time, and of course, as Paul has said, please always feel free to reach out afterwards. We're here to help. We're here to support. We want to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward and coming to this challenge with innovative ideas. And so, if there's nothing else, last final call. All right. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
There's
there we
another
go.
one. Oh, okay. Perfect. Okay, so Gina says I will have a few follow-up questions, so please feel free to reach out. I understand that sometimes it's it's easier to maybe just put down in paper, but yeah, please feel free to reach out. And yeah, Lisa, a similar statement. Please feel free to reach out. We're happy to kind of give you a little bit more direction, one-on-one, and yeah.
Yeah, same to me. I think my contacts is in the presentation. So any more data, more numbers. We have a lot of numbers already on the system, but yeah, we need help to analyze and doing good stuff with it. So yeah.
Excellent. All right, before we go, I'm just going to flip back and just reiterate some of the challenge timelines here before we hop off. But where we are today, we're obviously here at the webinar. Remember that the submission window closes on February 1st, 11:59 Pacific time. Again, we are welcoming applications from across the country and around the world. So keep that date and time in mind. Like I said, and I want to reiterate this because it's really unfortunate when we have to say no to people who apply after the deadline. So remember that time. And then as we've discussed here again, we'll move into an evaluation period, and a winner should be announced towards the end of March. So with that, I will say thank you again to everyone for being here. We appreciate your time. We appreciate you taking the time out of your day to learn about this challenge. And yeah, looking forward to seeing every one of the applications that come in. So thank you, and
Excellent.
hopefully we'll hear from you all soon.